Hello and welcome back. Get this to go away. This video, I'm going to talk about trend lines. So we've kind of looked at some lines on graphs already, and now we're going to learn how to make them and why. So let's look at the quick little example. Let's say that you know the income for a business over time, and you've got this graph of it, and you want to make a prediction of what's going on. Like, how are we going to say how much we can spend next month based on this historical data of how much we've made each month? Is it going to go up? Is it going to go down? Stay the same? And so you can use a trend line to make a projection. The simplest thing you could do is just take the average. That's like the lowest order fit. Is just take our average. That's what it's going to be. So early on, you're going to be over predicting. Later on, you're going to be under predicting. Not a great fit, but hey, that's like your income will probably be around that somewhat, right? It's not going to be way off from the average. But maybe we can do a better prediction. So if we do like a linear trend line here, you can see that, oh, this is like a reasonably good fit. It seems like it lines up with the data. Maybe we can say that in July, we'll see this kind of increase in our income and we can budget appropriately. And so that could be like a good fit. But it's very important to note that it's only as good as the data that you have when you make these trend lines. So if you did this linear trend line from just that sort of early data we were looking at before, you'd be like, okay, it's going to keep going up forever. And then you take some more data and you see that our income as a business does not go up forever. In fact, it does this sort of cyclical pattern where it goes up and then down and then up again. And not having data, complete data means that we can't just like make these arbitrary predictions and think that it's going to be right without having some context. And so one, really important thing is just get more data and make a better prediction and a better fit and a better trend line. And then another thing is to try to like analyze your problem and build a model based on what you know to be true about it. And so one thing you might incorporate into this income model is that we know income in businesses tends not to go up over time forever, especially like a well-established business may have some more like slower and more consistent trends, and sometimes it will go down. And so you can incorporate that into your model instead of saying, oh, it's just going to go up linearly forever. Here's another example of a rate constant equation. So you could look at like a chemical reaction here and see the products coming out and how quickly they come out depending on temperature. And so we have this sort of equation that we have experimental data for of this chemical reaction, and we can fit that with a line, and we can extract these parameters, this A and beta parameter, and those will give us a lot of information about the chemical reaction. Now, this is like some higher level chemistry than we know. We don't really understand chemical reactions, but this is how you would do it, is like fit this exponential function. It looks linear on here. It's actually an exponential function. Take the parameters out, and then you've got a model for this thing. And look at how great this fit is. So that's one thing you can do in Excel that's really powerful. But for now, we just need to learn how to make a little trend line on our own. So let's do that. This shows you the steps here, but I'm going to go ahead and do it down below. So first, we need our chart. So we highlight the graph, go to Insert. I'm already there. Start with a scatter plot. That's generally where you're going to be putting your trend lines, is in scatter plots. I can go ahead and sort of update these other things that we already know how to do. Density, measurement, room temperature, liquid, metal. Room temperature liquid metal is one that you should be afraid of, just for context. Most metals are not liquid at room temperature, and it's really the dangerous ones that are. But let's see, we can add axis titles and say that our axis here is volume, and that's in liters, and our axis here is mass, and that's in kilograms. Okay, and now the thing that we want to learn is the trend line. So if you click on that data, again, we get this little pop-up to the side, And this time we're gonna go ahead and, where is it? Right click on it to add a trend line. Now we have our format trend line option. Sorry about that. So we don't just want the data formatting, we want the trend line formatting. And so automatically it usually does a linear because that's pretty common. And so that's what we wanted here. You can see we've got this linear line now. You have other options like exponential, logarithmic, polynomial, power, moving average. Those come in the next section. But here it is. We've got a linear thing. We can go ahead and there's these checks down here. We can check to display the equation on the chart and we get this pop up. And we can, oops, come back. I'm going to format my line, display the R squared value as well, which is like a measure of how good of a fit it is, how close it is to the data. And there is our graph, this somewhere with a trend line.